Hey guys, it's Johnny Reeds here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. I'm excited to have you. Today's going to be an exciting video. We're going to do a tier ranking video of all the books that I've read in 2024 so far. So I am really excited to do this with you guys. This is something I've been looking forward to. So now that June is over, we're halfway through the year, and I have read 39 books so far. I'm really excited about it, and my goal that I set for myself this year is 52, so I'm already 75% of the way there. I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into the tier ranking. I thought we could just go ahead and get started with that. All right, so let's go ahead and explain my tiers. So go read it now. These are books that you must stop what you're doing, except for when you finish this video. Go read, go pick up the book, go request it at your library. Loved it, obviously. That's, I loved it. Something you definitely need to put on your TBR, but not anything that I would tell you to go, read right now. I didn't hate it. It means I liked it, kind of. It was meh. Better luck next time. I didn't enjoy this book. The author did not necessarily turn me off their writing, but maybe next time we'll find something better. But these were not it. And then stop means that this was not good. And maybe I just wasn't the target audience for this novel, but I also just wasn't a fan of the writing. This is just my opinion on how I feel about them. So, all right. So we've got Assassin's Apprentice first. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to put this in, go read it right now. This book is amazing. It's slow paced, set in an amazing fantasy world. You're following this kid named Fitz, and you're watching him grow up. It is kind of depressing. Like I said, it is slow, but the ending really works. It kind of amps up. You're hunkered down in the book, but I don't know, when you write something so slow, that makes the characters and the setting a little bit more of an intimate experience, and I really like that. I felt like there was an actual relationship going on between me and this world and Robin Hobb's writing. So I'm very impressed with the way that she writes. She's really good. Let's see. The next one, Needful Things. I'm going to put it in loved it. I really did like this book. I think it is something that people do need to read. I think it's one of Stephen King's most underrated books. It's not something that I think before reading it really knew about. I read it for a book club, but I still really enjoyed it. So it's like Assassin's Apprentice, it's a slow burn. Stephen King is really getting you intimate with the town. And for those who don't like horror or associate Stephen King with horror, I would not necessarily call this scary horror. I call it cozy horror. And what I mean by that is there's horror elements in it, but because of how slow Stephen King is taking this plot, you're getting used to the setting of Castle Rock and these characters, and you're getting to know them, and it's kind of setting you up in this nice, cozy little seaside town in Maine, and it's kind of beautiful, but then you have these horror elements that come on and ramp up as you get going, but I would not say that they're necessarily your standard, his standard type of horror. They're elements, but not anything that I would say would scare you enough to put the book in the freezer. I definitely recommend it that you add it to your TBR. All right, we got another Stephen King book. Okay, this is Wolves of the Calla. I'm gonna put this in, go read it right now. Of course, this is the 5th book of the Dark Tower series, so you need to go read the first one first if you haven't. The Gunslinger, and it is a story about the last gunslinger. The complete series is a kind of retelling and expansion of, I think his name is Brown, Child Roland to the Dark Tower came. So this is kind of, that retelling and expansion. It has all elements of, drama and horror, sci-fi. It really gets into really deep characters, and even with characters that are just in one book, you really feel like they've been with you since the beginning. And that's how Stephen King writes, and I really like that. So, and also Stephen King just has such a knack for putting pop culture references in his books. Let's see. I'm gonna kind of try to go through a few other things. All right, I want to go through Richard Osman's The Bullet That Missed and The Last Devil. So these are the latest two books of Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club series. The first one being The Thursday Murder Club, and then the second one being The Man Who Died Twice. So I did audiobook for these. They're very charming. They're I would compare it to Murder, She Wrote meets The Golden Girls set in the English countryside. So I really enjoyed the first two. I really enjoyed the narrator. What I didn't like is when they changed narrators, and the narrator, instead of trying to have some continuity by matching the voices of the first one, decided to take on her own take. And it's very jarring when you have, like, when you're listening to something, it's kind of like it's a recast basically, and they didn't tell you. The narrator for these two books switched the accents for Ibrahim and Ron, which are two of the characters, and it's just like, what? No, that's not his voice. So I don't know. It disappointed me. I'll say that. If I had read it if I had read it on paper in print, it probably would have been a different story because it would have been my voices. Right. Let's see. Oh, another Stephen King. I've read a lot of Stephen King this year. All right. We're going to put in Loved It. So I know that this isn't everyone's favorite Stephen King novel, just because the parts are very different from when he's on Earth and then when he goes into the portal, but it is a portal fantasy where he's going into another world that a lot of our fairy tales come from. I will say the fairy tale part could have been polished a little more. It was rough and rushed. I think it probably either could have been longer or separated into other books. Like, the idea is good. I like it. But it wasn't done well. But I still liked it. I still enjoyed those first 200 pages, the relationship between the old man and the kid. And then, of course, like, some of the battle scenes. I will also say this is probably one of the most anticlimactic endings of a Stephen King I have ever read. And I was disappointed in that because I was like, really, that's how we're going to do this? So, but he made a choice. All right, let's see. Let's go with the 5th season. So I'm going to go with Better Luck Next Time. I didn't like the writing. I didn't like the second person. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't flow well in writing. I think it was something that was innovative and a nice try, but I just don't think that they did it well. Let's see. We're going to go to Crush and Crave. So I'm going to put Crush in, go read it right now, and same thing with Crave. So the reason why I'm putting this here is because I loved it. I mean, I know that some people probably were like, this is ripoff of Twilight. I'm going to say this. This is Twilight done the way it should have been, okay? This is actually action-packed, actually diving into the lore of the school and the monsters and these, fairy tale beings. So it's how it should have been written. And it's actually funny and keeping me gripped. Is it the best? No, but I had generally a great time reading it, and I'm excited to continue the series. So, let's see. I'm going to put A Deadly Education and The Last Graduate and Loved It. So, the reason why I did that, these are the first two books of the Scholomance trilogy, and I have the third one now on Libby. It's really great. It's an easy read. I would say there's some foul language in it for a YA novel, but I liked the story. I liked the plot. I thought it was unique. Some people probably don't think that it's unique, but for me, it's like, yes, it's a wizarding school, but you have to get out alive in order to actually go be a wizard in the real world. So, and the fact that they don't ever get to go home for all of the years in school that I think it's either between 4 or 8 years. I'm not necessarily sure. I'm going to put Brandon Sanderson's The Alloy of Law at go read it right now. But you have to go read the first Mistborn trilogy, because you don't want to ruin that. The Alloy of Law will kind of ruin what happened in the first trilogy. So, but I really enjoyed it. It's funny. I know some people, it's very polarizing, but I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the take on gunslinging and using the allomancy and Furukami with, like, guns. So, three-body problem. Because that's a problem. Yeah, we're going to put that in better luck next time. So at first I gave it a 3 stars, and then the more and more I get away from this book, the more I dislike it. So it is just really boring, and I'm not a fan of the scientific exposition. I felt like it was very condescending to have to kind of give me a lecture on the science when you could have displayed it in action and I would have been able to get that. So that's just my opinion. And I know a lot of people don't agree to that, but I didn't like it. Also, I was told this was a sci-fi horror, and this was nothing like a sci-fi horror. All right, Fathom Folk. Okay, I'm going to put Fathom Folk and loved it. This is also a very polarizing book. There are people who loved it or they hated it. And I know that some people have their qualms with how it was written. I think that a lot of people DNF'd it around like the 125 mark. And if you had just read another 50 pages, the book launches off. I think that this one people weren't giving this a chance. I think they had a lot of preconceived notions, but I do like the mix of culture that is in this between the folklore of the Fathom folk, since the author is Asian and Scottish. Like, some of the creatures that are in there are from Scottish folklore, and then of course she pulls some from Asian folklore, and I just thought that it was really good. It wasn't the best written, but at the end I enjoyed it. To me, the ending saved the day for this book. And I do look forward to seeing Eliza's next book and seeing her writing improved. So, like, next one. All right, I'm going to do The Fury. To be honest, I didn't hate it. This is a read that I read while driving to the beach with my roommate, and it was okay. It's just the one thing that I didn't like about it is the way that it's written. It's written in several parts, and each part is a different POV of the exact same story, but a different perspective. There is little by little added onto it as you're moving along. I'm just not a fan of having to reread the same thing. It's just not my cup of tea. So, but I mean, like I said, I didn't hate it. It was interesting. Alberton Angels. So The Mysterious Case of Alberton Angels. I really enjoyed this. It's written not in a narrative format. It's written in like found documentation. So you're reading like emails and court documents, text messages, and that's how you're getting the details of this story. So there's not really any narrative. It's mostly all dialogue. I really enjoyed it. Brandon Sanderson's The Hero of Ages. So I have a hard time putting it in go read it now, and I'm going to put it in loved it, because I did love it, but it wasn't like what I expected it to be. But each one is just its own separate theme. Like, the first one is kind of a heist book, and then the second one is a political drama, and then the third one is kind of that apocalyptic, world-ending book. So that's so it's like very different. They're each part of one story, but each have its own individual story. All right, let's go to Hyperion. So I really loved Hyperion. I thought it was a great book. I did a full video review on it last week, so go catch that if you haven't. I won't talk too much on that. I'm just pulling randomly, guys. Let's do Ninth House. Okay, better luck next time. I love Lee Bardugo. I loved the Grishaverse. I did not like Ninth House, but I also don't think I was the right demographic for this book. And so I thought it was very boring. And I'm very disappointed in Lee. But so I really just hope that her next book is better. I'm not going to read the second Ninth House book, but I mean like outside of that. I have The Familiar here, so I'm hoping that is different. So, okay. I think this is the last Stephen King. So Song of Susanna. I'm going to put this and loved it. So I really liked this book because it's pretty much just a prologue to the last one. Like a 430-page prologue. And I really thought it was good. It definitely moved things along. And it was kind of a nice refresher to have a short book in between two huge. One is 700 pages and the other one is 830. So it's kind of a little bit of a refresher, I would say. Let's do the Juniper and Thorn. I'm going to put it in stop. This was terrible. I did not like it. I don't really want to talk much about it. But I DNF'd it because of how bad it was. This book was not for me. The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder. I'm going to put in loved it. This was pretty good. I really enjoyed this one. This one is just a standard, whodunit. It's set in England. It actually has cultural references to the antique hunting game. So Martin's Brothers birds are actually real. And I thought that was really cool. So let's do An Evil Heart, as I didn't hate it. It's a mystery novel, another whodunit that takes place in the Amish country. So this detective also used to be Amish. So she's having to deal with solving a murder in Amish culture while formerly having been a part of it and being and choosing to exile herself from being Amish. So let's do Cotterval. I loved it. I thought it was really great. A very interesting, fun, quick read. So I know it's kind of a little bit dark, but I thought it was really good. I had fun reading it, especially since it's kind of I wouldn't say Hunger Games since their lives are not at stake. But obviously if she doesn't win, she doesn't get to live her own life, but the one that her dad is forcing her into in this marriage that she has. So I actually liked that a lot. And I'm excited to read the other two books. All right, Dungeon Crawler Carl is going in to go read it right now. I think everyone I need to put this, I'm not really been organizing this, but I need to put this one up at the top. I really loved this. This was so creative. I mean, this is a mix of D&D, Hunger Games, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I think everyone should just stop and read this book. It's a good time, and it's deep too. Like, Matt Dinniman really, really writes these characters and fleshes them out even as the action is going on. So let's do Rage of Dragons. So this is a love-hate relationship. I'm going to put it in loved it. And the reason why I say it's love-hate is because this book probably should have been reduced about 50 pages because there's just a lot of focus on training, and I thought that maybe that could have been montaged. And also the rage part was just a lot. Like, it was, in your face. Like, he wanted you to know that this main character's motivation is just pure rage. And I just couldn't connect with that because I feel like even when I've been at my angriest, I still cool down over time. Yet again, the situation that caused the rage is it's very bad. It definitely would trigger a vengeance like a spark of vengeance in someone. But I do wish he kind of either backed off a little bit of it because he wasn't seeing logic, or if the author could have made other events to kind of continue to push that rage towards the enemy, because that guy who he's declaring as his enemy is continuing to do things to hurt him. So that's my only critique on that. So otherwise, I really enjoyed it. I would say it's akin to John Gwynne. So if you like John Gwynne, you'd like that book. I'm going to put Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow in I didn't hate it. I did like the concept of it, about it being about two friends who are creating this video game and what it's like to be in this world of video game making. The only thing I didn't like is that these two have a tension between them, a romantic tension, and it doesn't get satisfied, and that bothered me. I think it bothered a lot of people to follow that. All right, so we're gonna do House with Good Bones. I'm gonna put stop. I didn't enjoy this at all. It's short, so I finished it, but this was not a good read. I didn't like the writing. I don't think T. Kingfisher is for me, so I'm just gonna pass on this book and reading other things from this author, at least for a time being. All right, so let's do Return of the Knights. This is I didn't hate it. It's just another epic fantasy. I might read the second one to kind of see where the author takes it. This is also a self-published book, so for a self-published book, I thought it was written very well and edited very well. But otherwise, it wasn't something that had me hooked. No One Can Know. I didn't hate it. So No One Can Know is basically about a hidden a hidden secret that this girl hasn't told her husband, and she has to reveal it. And basically her parents died when she was young, and everyone blames her for it. They think that she did it. And so she inherits their house, and she has to try and exonerate herself like several years later. So Air of Fire. Okay, I loved Air of Fire. I know I was not a big fan of the first two books. I didn't hate the first one. I thought the concept was interesting. I just wish that she would have focused more on the plot and building the world than the love triangle. That wasn't my thing, and I know that's kind of what this book is about, but I also didn't like the fact that the main character had this big epic backstory and couldn't live up to it. And it just is like, why would you build someone up and create a character that's supposed to be so strong, and then of course they're helpless when we get to the book at the position that we're reading in? It's like, I just don't think that would happen. It didn't seem realistic. So that's just kind of my qualm there. But I still liked Air of Fire because it changes drastically. It gets a lot action-packed. So it's action-packed. And like there's just a tonal shift change. And I'm not going to talk about the second one. That book should not have existed. That was bad. All right, so, Murder at an Irish Chipper. So this was pretty good. This is about a detective who has to solve a murder while on vacation at an Irish Chipper. And for those who don't know what a chipper is, it is a fish and chips restaurant. So the main character is on vacation. She hears a commotion. There's been a murder, and it's very off. They think the ex-husband did it because he also owns a competing chipper right across the street. So it's a nice whodunit book. One Dark Window. I'm going to put Better Luck Next Time. It just wasn't for me. It's just basic. And it's not something that I really want to continue on. But I do hope that, those who love it, that they continue to experience that joy in the rest of the books. So, How to Sell a Haunted House. I'm going to go with loved it. I really enjoyed this book. This one was actually scary. I would have had to put it in the freezer, only I was listening to it on audiobook and I wasn't going to put my phone in there. So for those who don't like scary books, I would kind of stay away from this one until you've kind of worked your way up to it. Princess of Las Vegas, loved it. So I really loved this book. It was awesome. I love anything Princess Diana, whether it's about her or Las Vegas impersonator. So this is another whodunit. And the Princess of Las Vegas, the Princess Diana impersonator, gets framed for these murders, and she's having to try and exonerate herself while also battling the estranged relationship she has with her sister. And then everyone on this train, I'm going to say Better Luck Next Time. I really enjoyed the first book, but I didn't like the second one. It just was very Murder on the Orient Express, and it just didn't catch me. I thought it was boring. I was like, this has already been done. So, Parable of the Sower, I'm going to put in Better Luck Next Time. So, I think me reading this book was not read at the right time, because it's a very depressing, but I think that, like, I was in such a happy-go-lucky mood, I didn't want anything to taint that, so I DNF'd it, and I could pick it up later. I'm not saying I won't finish this or read this, but it just wasn't the right time for me to read this book. I'm going to put All Systems Red in Better Luck Next Time. I listened to this on audiobook and just could not keep myself focused to listen to it. It's supposed to be a dry, sarcastic humor, and that's my forte. I really like that, and it was not funny. I was like, there's no way this is going over my head. This was just really not great. So I know a lot of people love this. It just wasn't for me. And then Heir to Rise, also Better Luck Next Time. So this was this is just cheesy book. And it's read by the same narrator as Sarah J. Maas's books, Throne of Glass books, which I think she did a good job, but there's just really nothing. It's just another Fae story. Like, a human must become Fae in order to, save the world type thing, and it's been done before several times. So I was not interested. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and stop this. All right, well, that is all of my 39 books. That's really good. Yeah, that's all 39 books that I read. Right now I'm reading A Way of Kings. I'm still trying to get through that. The Carl's Doomsday Scenario. Carl's Doomsday Scenario, and I'm also reading Mother Daughter Murder Night, which is good. I actually like that. And I'll I might do reviews on that, or I might do like a review at the end of the month. So but anyways, I just want you. I'm just glad that we did this. I thought this was fun. I had fun. I hope you enjoy kind of, watching me rank what I read. Before you go and like and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you want to put in the comments what you would like to see, I'd love to take suggestions, book suggestions on what I should read. Comment in the comment section. And if you want to follow me on my socials, the links are in the video description. So anyways, I hope you guys have a blessed one. This is Johnny Reads, over and out.